On the bill.
On the bill, Mr. Katz.
Okay. It's interesting that there are, for every point in this bill, at least 2 existing laws. So once again, I say this is once again a matter of enforcement of existing laws, not to have a grandstand for either a governor's reelection, presidential aspirations, or in fact, as a diversion for the fact that we have done nothing for some of the great issues in our state, such as mandate relief, high taxes, or the deplorable business regulations that small businessmen must be forced to go through, and which have made our state the worst state in the country to start a business. I have 4 daughters, and I grew up during the women's liberation period, and I fought for women's liberation up in Ithaca in the 1970s. The last thing on earth I want to see is discrimination in any form against women. And so 9 of those points I absolutely agree with. And not only do I agree with, but as I said, we already have laws for those. Okay? Now I'm going to say a couple of things that are not going to be well received by some people, but I'm going to say them because it's going to sort of clear the air and have us talk about something that's been like a stinking miasma around this body for the last few months. And that is that I have watched this season a legislative body that has protected and supported a speaker with 12-year history of enabling...
Mr. Katz.
Yes, sir.
We are constrained in our remarks to talk about the bill that is before us. Other issues relative to the operation of the House or other issues are not in order as long as we are addressing a bill.
I think this has an awful lot to do with this bill, Mr. Speaker, and I would like to complete what I have to say, but if you say no, let's let it stay right where it is right now. Let's let all the questions and all the issues that we've all been hearing from constituents and around the state to stay quiet and silent while we all just go about our business as if nothing is wrong here. That's fine, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Katz, you have the right, as you exercise it, of free speech outside, to the press, to letters that you write. But in the House, we have rules that we try to follow in order to conduct business in a reasonable way. And one of those rules requires us to speak on the bill that is in front of us as opposed to outside issues, which even may be important to you, but we try to respect each other in that process. All of us will find ourselves in different places at different times where issues could be raised, but if they're not relative to the bill in front of us, then we do not speak to them. Mr. McLaughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Why do you rise?
I'm sorry.
Mr. Katz, just a point of order, Mr. Chairman. I would just have
What is your point of order?
Quick question on that. Since sexual harassment is part of this bill, is not the Assemblyman's comments germane to this bill?
He can certainly speak on the merits of the bill, if that is what he's about. Where he was going was not the merits of the bill. It was another direction entirely.
Well, the policy that we're trying to prevent, which is sexual harassment, is certainly, as you know, a big part of what we're talking about today.
And we certainly can continue the discussion about the provisions in this bill relative to that issue. That's appropriate. Thank you, Mr. Katz.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will keep that in mind, although we all know what I'm talking about here. On the bill, we've got three sentences, essentially, on sexual harassment. I can't believe that out of all those pages, that's all we've got, especially in a situation where we've got 60% of the people, of the families in New York who've been polled, who would not send their daughters up here to become interns.
Mr.
I will
Heffley, why
stop
do you rise?
speaking now because I know that everything that I say will be argued against and will be people on my esteemed colleagues will not enjoy what I have to say, and
The
so
majority
that's
leader is
fine. I
standing,
stand
Mr. Katz.
down.